Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Chill Stream episode 45. We're going to get straight into tonight's stream. Just need to share with you the membership, and then we'll get going. So, you want to join my membership?
Gotcha. Sign up.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content, you'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
All right, as you saw there, you can become a member of the YouTube channel and you can grab all the live streams, past live streams. I have made the Thursday version or the Thursday live streams available for all, starting last week. And now the tutorial videos or the tutorial live streams will be open on Monday when they're live, and then they'll go straight to membership afterwards. So if you haven't seen it on the live session, then you can become a member and rewatch all the tutorial style videos or tutorial style live streams, as a member. You can also become a tier 3 member of the Patreon, and you'll be able to grab all the videos for the Velociraptor on how to sculpt a Velociraptor inside of ZBrush. It's basically from start to end, beginner to experienced artist can grab it and learn something new from it. So yeah, a great tutorial for those who want to learn how to sculpt the dinosaur. Okay, so I know there's going to be tonight. Sorry, I think there's going to be the Game Awards tonight. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot less people in tonight, which is a shame. But yeah, just is what it is, I guess. This will be the last live stream until the new year. So we're going to try and get through this as fast as possible. I'm going to put some music on in the background, and I'm going to jump into the ZBrush, which is not up. 1 second, guys. There we go. Cool. So so we're kind of gotten past the detailing stage. I think I'm going to leave the detailing stage as it is right now, because I want to move on to a new project, and I didn't think it was going to take this long, this project. So let's just say that we're finished with the detailing stage. I could go ahead and start sort of sculpting it even more. Thank you, Cakester. Yes, it is a nice hat. I thought I'd get into the festive season. I got the Christmas cheer on my shirt. But thank you very much. So yeah, if you want to ask me a question or just shoot the breeze in the chat section, then go ahead. I was going to do another AI video thing tonight, as we did last week, but I haven't got the credits yet. I think it's renews in the 14th. So I won't have the credits to do it. But come in the new year, we'll be able to do some more AI videos in the new year, because I'll have some more credits built up. So we'll skip the AI for tonight. Of course, music's a bit loud. 1 second. There we are. So yeah, we'll skip the AI tonight, and we'll just jump straight into this. So we're moving on to the text tree tonight, and I'm hopefully going to get the pose as well, and the rendering. It's a lot to do, but hopefully we'll be able to get this done, because this is it's gonna be a big thing. Again, a lot of the stuff we could probably do a lot of it inside of Photoshop, compositing wise. So we'll see how far we get with it. But first of all, I'm just gonna move this. Where should I move this actually? In fact, we don't need to see this. We've seen this enough. We know what's on here. This is the pure ref scene we've been using to sculpt the character, and just for some basic references. So we're just going to move this to the side, I think. And yeah, put it there. Oh, Kester says, I'm watching, but also doing something else, so won't be able to chat as much. That's fine. I'm just going to chat to myself. So don't worry. I think it's just like the end of the year and people have got so many other things to be doing with their day or their nights. And, you know, it's just a very busy month, basically. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to grab the, not that color, the skin shade. Now with the skin shade, I'll typically go to the material, and I'll take the modifier and turn down the specular because it's a bit harsh on the specular. So I just bring that down so it's not so much reflection on it. Now what I want to do is you want to kind of build up your textures gradually, right? So how I usually say how to do this is to think about when you paint a miniature or a Warhammer figure or a D&D figure, or any type of miniature, right? The first thing you want to do is put a base color down. So imagine this is our primed color that we're going to put down first. It's the base color for whatever goes on top of it as well. So we know that the character is majority skin or human style type skin. So what we're going to do is come into the subtools first and just going to unpaint everything. So just up here in the right hand corner, you got these little paint brushes, right? You can turn them on and off. When you turn them off, then you'll be able to preview the color that you're choosing. And I'm just going to go to color and fill this object with a, let's see if we can get a better skin tone. So just using this color gradient or color swatch here to find a better skin tone, base skin tone for this. All right. So everybody looking forward to the holiday season? The Christmas season. I know it's taboo. Oops, we're on the wrong thing here. 1 second. I know it's taboo to say holiday these days or the Christmas season these days. Oh, and also I'm going to turn off the layers as well. And what you can actually do now that we have what we want, we can just go ahead and bake all these layers down. So now all the detail is on the final model. And then they can go to color and fill object. A funny thing happened to me this morning, actually. Well, I say funny, I'm not sure how funny it is. There's a reference for the other one, look. You can actually copy that one as well. The funny thing happened to me this morning. I was walking towards the gym at, what was it, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. And I looked up into the sky. And for some reason, I just looked up into the sky and I saw these dots in the sky, like a line of, I think it was 10 dots, little dots, all spaced out very evenly, moving away from me into the horizon. And I thought to myself, have I just seen aliens? Have I just seen the UFO? So I whipped out my camera, took a photo. My camera is like a potato, basically, so it's got a really bad camera on it. Took a couple of photos, trying to take a video, but it was really dark, so you can't see anything. I was going to say shit. Oh, anyway. And so I took a picture of it. I sent it to my family and one of my friends who's a big UFO enthusiast. Well, not enthusiast, but he enjoys this sort of alien aspect of things and the life on other planets and whatnot. And he's also an artist in the VFX world. Because I didn't know what I saw. I thought it was UFOs, but apparently, both of them, my brother and my friend, got back to me and said, "Yeah, that's just Starlink." And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" I thought it was something amazing. I thought I stumbled across an actual UFO sighting, but no. Apparently, it was just Starlink flying above the orbit in lines. Apparently, it does that a lot. So, yeah, I look like a right tit. There I was thinking I had the photo of the century, right? All these lines moving away from me, all these little dots in a line moving away from me. I thought I was made for life, but apparently not. So I'm back to doing concept and sculpt work now. That was a very short-lived enjoyment, I'd say. All right, so now we've got this base color down. What we can do now is start to paint on it. And if you look at the old version of my monster, you can see we got a lot of flesh tones going on, some reds, even some whites on him. Now, the best thing to do is to tackle some dark areas first. So I'm going to grab a slightly darker color. I'm going to solo this so I get the teeth out of the way. And now with this slightly darker red, I'm going to, first of all, I'm using the paint brush here. So this brush down here, paintbrush. I don't like the paintbrush as a default because it has the step on it, or the, what do you call it, the step, the lazy mouse on, or the lazy curve on it. And that just means that it's actually stops it from, well, actually it makes it harder to paint precisely because you're kind of leading the brush, right? So if you want to turn that off, just press L on the keyboard, and that will turn it off, and then you don't have any of that drag, and that makes it so it's easier to paint very quickly. So with this, I'm going to start painting in, like you see here, some of these reddy flesh areas. Maybe around here. It's definitely around this mass of biomutant stuff that we got going on there. On the legs as well. It's touch sensitive as well, so it's got pressure sensitive on it, so it's really good for that. And along the tips of the fingers as well, because it's got quite a bit of red along the tips of the fingers. Oh, actually, we could maybe make those a little bit bluer because this is an undead, well, a sort of dead creature, right? That's a mutated creature, so we might be able to get away with making them a bit more bluish hues on them. But right now, it's not. I'm not being precise. I'm not being exactly perfect with all the color put down. I'm just trying to add color to him or over at this point. Okay. Let me change the music. I think it's going to get on everyone's noses, just that one. Yeah, that's better. A little softer. Yeah, a little jazzy. Okay, so it says, how's your character going? How's your other character going? Sorry. Yeah, that's going pretty well, actually. Kind of getting to the point where I've got all the pieces separate at the moment. So all the block out stage, I've just sort of gotten to a point where I'm happy with the block out stage. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to merge them all together and then start detailing it properly. But don't worry if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it, it's on my Discord. I'm keeping people updated on the Discord with it, but it will also be available when I make the video for it, because I'm going to make a kind of time-lapse video of the whole process on how to sculpt the demon. So if you want to know what demon is, you can join the Discord. I'm sure you can find it if you type my name in. I've tried all year to make that Discord link work constantly, and it's just giving me the a-hole. So I'm trying. I've given up on it. If you want to know where my Discord is, it should be easy to find if you just type in MLW Creative. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass trying to figure out Discord. I think I'm just old. I'm just too old to figure that stuff out, I think. But yeah, the creature is coming along nicely. Okay, so choose a darker brownish tone for that weapon. This weapon is actually a bit of bone, mutated bone, but I think I'm going to leave it a little bit brown, a dark brown. And with this, you can also do symmetry on, which just makes it easier and faster. I'm just going to do the feet darker. Now, I typically do the feet darker because, you know, you don't want to pull the eyes towards that area unless they are a key essential piece to your character. You don't really want to, if they're not very detailed or well developed in the sculpt, like mine, then you want to kind of try and hide it, right? You don't really want to show it off too much. So that's why I make the lower legs darker than the top. It's also a technique I learned from a document that I've downloaded from the what do you call it? The League of Legends game. They put up a document on how they create characters for League of Legends using 3D and how they paint them in a particular way. It's a very interesting document. Or maybe I'll try and find it because I think I might still know where it is. It should be on the internet somewhere. But it's a very interesting document because it shows you how they paint the character so that it's light on the top, and as it goes to the feet, there's a gradation of light to dark. So it gives the illusion of depth. Case says, what exactly is that you're struggling with to do with the Discord? Basically, every time I create a link to my Discord, I then put it as non-expiry, so it never expires. And every time I go in there to copy the link to add it to somewhere on another website, the people tell me that they can't access it because it doesn't exist when they click on the link. And then I go back into it, into Discord to fix the link or to figure out what's going on, and it says that the link is expired. I don't know. It's beyond me. Yeah. I'm not that tech savvy when it comes to social media stuff. Okay. So we got that so far. Let's just turn on the other monster and see how that looks compared. Okay, yeah, we got some masking techniques to do later. Okay, and the teeth look all right. I might just add some darker values around the mouth area here, where the teeth meet the gum. Just make those a little darker. Now, it's also a good idea to have the actual concepts that you're working from visible. So if you can see here, you can kind of see how messed up it is in this mouth here, and this one here as well. But these are done in Substance Painter, so I'm not looking to make it that good inside of ZBrush. But we'll try and get it as close. But we're still adding just the basic colors right now. With very broad brush strokes. And for the areas where you see more bone, I'm going to color pick by holding down C or tapping on C. You can color pick if you see the little swatch here on the bottom left-hand side. Every time I tap on an area, a different area, or every time I hover over an area and tap the C button, it's actually going to color pick that color. So that's a great little shortcut for people. It actually took me quite a while to figure that out, to be fair. So yeah, I'm very happy, very happy with myself, proud of myself for that. Because it says, send me a message on Discord after the stream, and I'll try and help and fix you. Thanks, man. Yeah, yeah, it'd be great if that could happen, because I tell you, it's just annoying. You think you set everything up correctly, and because, like, for me, Discord is like trying to. Obviously, I'm not a programmer. I don't write code or anything like that. But basically, it to me, it's like it's too much logic in it. And I'm not a very logical guy. I like to get in and create things. Right? I'm an artist. I'm not a sort of programmer. So that sort of stuff just really knocks me back when it doesn't work properly. Probably not a good idea to not be tech savvy, to be fair, with the way the world's going at the moment. And people and jobs and stuff should be more tech savvy, but oh well. Celestials is in. Hey, Celestial. Nice to see you're here. Just talking about random stuff at the moment whilst texturing this guy. Oh, by the way, congratulations on is it yeah, it is you. You see, I'm finding it difficult now because YouTube has changed the naming conventions on all the people. So instead of having your name, it has your page description. So it's your at the moment. But yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, you've had a great week as well, Celestials. You've been published, I believe, in the Geiger book, if I'm not mistaken. Congratulations. Is it your first book or first illustration book, or is it your first your first what do you call it, publication of your art in a book, or is it something you do regularly? Okay, so got these base colors down. Now, when you're working on a miniature, you'll get to a point where you've added all your base colors onto your model, right? So you got all. Let's take Warhammer, because that's pretty much all the ones I know. So basically, you got your model, your little Space Marine, because apparently Warhammer 40k only know how to make Space Marines. They don't know how to make anything else in their range. So you have a little Space Marine guy, and you've put all the blue, the browns, the sort of gold and silver and all that sort of thing on, right? All the separate color parts to the model. The next thing you do with your model is you'll have two things you can do. The first is to what they call put washes on, right? So a wash is basically a watered down pigment or watered down color of the paint that you use. So what they'll do is they'll try to get the dark recesses in, the cavities in, by mixing the black paint with some water or some other oil, sort of, what do you call it? Not oil. It's just turn that off. Sorry. It's what they call it. It's a Nuln oil. I guess it's an oil. It's a thinner, right? A paint thinner. And then what that does is it gets into all the little crevices of the armor plating, and it gives you that nice ambient occlusion shadow that you're looking for on your character. So that's the first thing they do. And then the second thing they do is they do the highlights, right? Where they take a brush and they start doing little highlights of all over the character. We're going to do exactly the same thing with this guy, and it works pretty well, to be fair, this technique. So how do we get the crevices and cracks? Well, just make the subtotals smaller here. If we come down to masking, and under masking, you'll see there's a mask by cavity. And what that's going to do is it's going to mask the model by the cavity that you create, right? So if we go to mask by cavity, you can turn the blur up. The intensity, you can bring this down a little bit. And under cavity, under the cavity profile, you can actually change this to whatever you like to help you out. But the best way to do this is to mask first, see what it looks like. So you can see all the dark areas is now masked, and that's where all the cavities are, right? So ZBrush has masked out all the cavities. If you play around with the slider here, you'll be able to change the intensity of the cavity through here. You can also come up to the top here, and use these tools up here to also change the mask. So now that you have a mask, you can now play around with the mask. So you can say, I want to blur the mask, and that's just going to blur it. You can say you want to grow the mask, and that's just going to grow what's there in those cavities. You can boost it as well. So if you blur it and then you boost it, it's just going to boost the sort of intensity of that mask. And then also on the other side, you have your sharpen mask, shrink mask, and dilute mask. Now, typically, I'll pick between the blur, the grow, and the boost. I don't really play around too much with it because I'm usually quite quick with it. So what I'll probably do is I'll grow it first, right? Well, not grow it. You can even invert the mask. Sorry, inverse the mask. Yeah. So you can see it's inverted. You can then blur the mask and then boost it a couple of times. So you can tap that as many times as you like, and that's going to boost that mask up. Celestial says it's my first time. Oh, brilliant! Well, congratulations on your publication. Casey says, is your Discord server considered a community? I have no idea, mate. I'll have to find it out later on. But I'm sure, I think it might be. Celestial says, did you paint miniatures yourself? Yeah, I have. I've painted a few of them. They're all the way up there and just up here. I've got a few of them up there. I'll have to show you it next year. A couple of the models next year. When I'm not live streaming like this. So, so now that we have our mask, I've just sort of hidden the mask. You can view the mask or hide the mask just tapping on that button there. It's still there, it's just hidden. What we can do is we can either use that mask to paint all those crevices in, or if you want, you can also come over to color and fill object, and that's just going to fill the entire object where that mask is. Right, so now you can see it's like we've taken the Nuln oil or the watered down base, watered down paint, sorry, and we've gone to our little Space Marine miniature on his shoulder pad, and you know how the shoulder pads are for those characters, and we've touched the inner edge of the shoulder pad, and that oil or that paint has gone around the inner edge of that shoulder pad, right? That's basically what we just did here. We just sort of flooded the entire cavity of our character with that color. And we can still view the mask through here, and we can even invert the mask and do some more. But before we do that, I'm just gonna get rid of the mask because I got what I wanted. So I'm just gonna clear the mask. You can even clear the mask by tapping this button here as well. And I'm just going to turn up the intensity, turn up the blur, and then create a new mask. And I want to grow this one a couple of times. And then I'm going to invert this. And I'm going to boost it. Let's just see how this goes. So what you want to do is kind of play around with it until you get what you want out of it. I think that's not going to work. One second. Let me try another one. So we come over to peaks and valleys and just try this one. So mask by peaks and valleys is going to give you a different sort of look to your model with the mask. And you can kind of see how it's doing it. It's taking the peaks and valleys of your model and masking the sort of areas around it. So if I invert this, you can kind of see what's going to happen there. We could even do an ambient occlusion one. With the ambient occlusion one, it's going to take a little while because it's got to calculate the ambient occlusion first. So if you press on this, you're going to get a really good mask, but it's going to take a long time to do, depending on how detailed your model is, I guess. So I'm just going to try it anyway. And you can see up here on the top left-hand corner here, it's going to be playing through or running through the process of creating an ambient occlusion mask. And once that's done, then we can play around with the settings to enhance the masking, basically. Just give that a minute. Going to take about a minute, to be fair. Has everybody got everything they needed for Christmas yet? Are they all? Is everybody looking forward to this holiday? Oh, I think we're done. Okay, that was quick. Quicker than normal. So if I just come over here, you can see the mask is turned on, but it's very like what do you call it? It's very transparent. It's not very visible. That's the word. So what you want to do is you just want to tap on the grow mask a couple of times until you start seeing something happen here. If you can't see anything happening, then all you got to do is come over to the subtool and turn off the color layer and put this to white, and you'll be able to see the mask better. And if I come down to the masking, we can now boost the mask, and now you can kind of see what's going on with this mask. Right? So if we invert this, you'll be able to see even better. And just gonna shrink the mask. Nope. Grow mask. Blur mask. There we go. That should be fine. So we want to play around with this, and every time you create a mask and you think it has some potential, then you can come in and start to use it. So changing the color to a darker color, maybe not a darker color. Let's change it to a more grayish tone. Actually, no, wait. If it's an ambient occlusion and we've seen the mask masking out those dark areas, then we want to use a lighter color because it's kind of like a subsurface scattering at this effect, in this respect. Kind of using it as a fake subsurface scattering technique. So it's giving that little bit of redness to the overall areas. It does really well in these cavity areas around here. Sechel says, I have my Christmas tree decorated already. Good. I have mine as well. It's right over there. Tiny little thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be going to my family's this Christmas, so I don't have to worry about having massive Christmas decorations or whatever up. Okay, so that's the ambient occlusion. Here we are. Yeah, the only reason I know anything about the Game Awards, which I probably should know more, is I think the Game Awards are on tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Or were they on yesterday? I can't remember. Let me just check real quick. Check YouTube. Game Awards 2025. It's actually scheduled for the 11th of the 12th. The 11th of the 12th, 2025. So that's tonight at 22:30, which is about an hour's time. Yeah. Well, the only reason I know about that is because I don't know if anybody's seen this guy. I'll just get him up on YouTube. Does anybody know this guy? Has anybody seen this channel before? Vox's production. He's a really, really talented video creator. He does reviews of films and everything else that's under the sun, but he's got some very, very funny stuff on there. So if you have a moment, go to Vox's Productions and check it out, because I don't want to spoil it, but he has got really, really good videos on his show. It's the kind of thing I would love to do, but I don't have the acting ability or the range to do that. So yeah, I don't. I can't even say it. Peter, is it Peter? Peter 1130 says, "I love your artwork." Well, thank you very much. Cool. Okay, let's just step back at this and have a look at this character now. So you can see he's very red at the moment, red and whitish, and we kind of want to put some colder tones into him. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce some blue hues or slightly blue hues. When I say blue hues, I mean more towards the grayish tone than the blue. What we're going to do is again go to cavity and mask by cavity. And I just want to try flipping this around, inverting it, and then grow the mask, blur the mask, and then turn that off. I just want to grab a sort of grayish blue tone to it. That's too much. You want to bring down the RGB intensity for this because at 100 it's just going to dump the color onto it as well. So you just want to bring down the RGB intensity and then just go around with this very dark grayish blue hue that you have and introduce it to your character. Not everywhere, but just in some key areas that you find might need some changing colors. Whoops, a bit too much. Here we are. Peter says, "I've been with ZBrush and Mudbox from inception." Oh, wow. Lucky you. I've only done it for the last 10 years in ZBrush, so yeah. I don't even touch Blender at the moment. I will at some point. I will, but yeah, I mean, maybe next year I could look into some Blender stuff because I won't be doing any more time-lapse videos. So I think the time-lapse videos have seen their days come and go. The ones that I've been creating, I think people want to see a bit more actual stuff that can help them in their sort of portfolios and whatnot. So that's the plan next year, is to start making more content that is more specific to getting a good portfolio and stuff like that. But also not killing myself, not killing myself to create content on content on content, because I'm not although I make content, I'm not actually a content creator. I'm just an artist who started doing this during COVID, and I found people who enjoyed it, so I kind of just kept on making things for the entertainment purposes, as well as sort of inspiring others to join the sort of art world, the 3D art world, I guess. But I was never intending to keep doing those time-lapse videos for as long as I had. So, it's a lot of work, really. So just turned off the mask, and I'm just adding some blue hues to some key areas, or not even key areas, just to random areas, just so it breaks up the red and white, Casey says, "Have you seen the new retopology ZBrush tools in ZBrush?" I've seen it advertised online and on Instagram, but I don't have 2020. Is it 2025 or is it 2026 by now? I haven't got that version of ZBrush. I only have the 2022 and 2021 version. By the way, how do people actually have ZBrush licenses? Because Are you paying for it? The ZBrush 2026 version? Are you actually paying for that license, or have you guys got the perpetual licenses? I'm just curious. I'm just curiously asking because the subscription fee on ZBrush is just crazy. Hence why I gave it up, because I just couldn't afford it really. And this is a person in full-time work. You know, I mean, I work in full-time and do this on the side. And even I couldn't afford the ZBrush license. Okay, so you bought the annual. That's a bit costly, isn't it? Last time I saw it was like 200, 300 quid. I mean, you get your money's worth. Don't get me wrong. They're innovating it and they're making it more. They're working on the program more, but I think it's a lot of money still. 360. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I haven't got that sort of money, unfortunately. Oh, I was going to ask actually, what do you guys think of Stranger Things? Has everyone seen Stranger Things yet? Or has everyone sort of got caught up with it yet? Because if you haven't, then you realize that you've got until December sometime, until the next season of the next half of that season comes out. So, yeah, what do you think of it? I think Vecna was very, very cool at the end. I can't wait to see how they're going to destroy him. But I think the design of him is a lot better than the. Well, I'm in two ways about it. To be fair, I like it, but I still think the one from season 4 is stronger looking. You know, it's more menacing. I think the one from season 5, I guess because we haven't seen enough of him, he is more of a threat, don't get me wrong, but we just haven't seen enough of him throughout the season. So it wasn't as good a payoff. Quite like the one from season 4. You haven't? Oh god, Keister hasn't seen it. Have you seen Harry Potter yet, mate? Or The Hobbit? Those are the only 2 things you need to watch before next year. Is The Hobbit and Harry Potter. I still gotta find that shame music specifically for you. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, hasn't seen a TV show or like a movie. So right now I'm just picking out some of these more landmark looking pieces of the model here. Sorry, my brain is frazzled. I'm just completely knocked out right now. Trying to work and do it at the same time is very difficult. Trying to concentrate as well as talk to you guys. Casey says, I've seen Stranger Things up to 4, just not least latest season yet. Okay, that's fair enough. And no Harry Potter or Hobbit. Oh, damn it. God damn it. You let me down. You let me down. That's all right though. You'll see it by the beginning of next year. Hopefully. Okay. Just grabbing some more of these very thick veins or whatever they are on the body here. Just looking for the other ones if there's any others. paint these parts red because it's supposed to be torn flesh here. Exposed flesh. There we are. And look, we've got these very big boils all over his body here. So what I want to do is I want to mask them by using a mask. I'm going to mask them. I'm just going to grow this a couple of times and then blur it. Turn off the mask. And what we want to do is if I just pull out from the character and turn on the other one, kind of just want to paint them with a bit of a white on it. You can see there's a bit of white on them. So we're just going to do that as well. Coming in here, oops, grab a white, a Milky Way. And we just want to paint the middle piece, really, of all these boils. Now, we're going to do all the boils, obviously, but the biggest ones, the ones that pop out the most, you can go ahead and add that bit of color. Oh, man, I saw a film last night. Was it last night or was it the night before? I think it was last night. It was called Death Wish. Has anyone seen that on Netflix? Apparently it's popular on Netflix. It's got Bruce Willis in it. And I'll tell you what, I felt a bit bad for him. Because for years, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but for years, before he came out with the news that he had, that he's got that brain dementia. I think it's dementia, like a serious form of dementia, which sort of kills you after a few years. When they came out, eventually came out and said that, I just thought back to all the films he's recently done, and you can kind of see the effects of his illness and what it had on him when he was filming. And so I sort of started looking back at some of the films he's done, and there's some of them that he doesn't talk much, or he's sort of not really there. You know, he's there, but he's not really there, paying attention or whatever. And sometimes, and his acting, he would all of a sudden just burst out with anger for no reason, or it was over the top with the bursting of anger, you know. And I'm guessing that's because of the dementia. So I was watching, like I said, I was watching Death Wish last night, which he was in. It was all right, actually. It was a nice film. It was a good revenge film on Netflix. But every time I was just watching it, I couldn't get that out of my head that he's got dementia at this point in his career when he was making this film. And I just couldn't. I felt sorry for him more than I did hyped, you know. He was one of my favorite action heroes back in the day, man. Bloody fucking Die Hard was like just amazing when it came out. And yes, it is a Christmas film before anyone says anything about that. Because there's a lot of speculation whether or not it's a Christmas film, isn't there, in the film world. Celestial says you need to watch The Hobbit for the sake of the dragon, at least. Yeah, definitely. I think The Hobbit is probably got the best on-screen dragon ever to be made for film, you know. And there's also, if you watch the making of it, the making of Smaug, you'll just realize how much of that dragon that they never actually had at the beginning of the first film, going into the second film. So at the beginning of the second film, they still didn't have a design for the Smaug, right? And they were rushing around at the end of the first one, They literally, all they had was the eye for Smaug designed. There's a whole documentary about that. And so when they came to second film, they had to start designing Smaug. And it took them a very long time in pre-production to design this thing. And they had tons of artists, not just concept artists, but other artists as well, working on the concept and coming up with ideas. And I think it was one of the clay artists that created this a beautiful maquette of the head of Smaug and a bit of the neck. And I think Peter Jackson just fell in love with that design, and he said, "That's Smaug. I want to see more iterations with that head on it." And then once they eventually got the head designed, the body sort of flowed naturally, I think. But it is a very, very good making of the making of Smaug. Okay, so I have just gone around and put some more white onto there. So it's kind of like the highlight section we're coming up to. So for the highlights, we just use the same technique. We're going to mask by cavity. And try different positions of this. Okay. Mask by cavity. And instead of inverting it, we're just going to grow it. And then blur it and boost it. No, just blur it. And you can see here, it's masked out all the top areas of our character as much as it can. And I'm just going to turn that off, and I'm going to grab an off pinkish white for this, and I'm just going to paint very lightly in these areas. If you want, you can turn the mask on. You can see where the masked areas are. But essentially, it's just these high raised areas like skin, sort of loose type skin of the character. And you can just paint these in. What that's giving you is another layer of texture, right? Just undo those again. So you can see every time you add more using masking technique, you're adding more layers of complexity to the texture. See there, you got some nice textures going on there on the poly paint. And what's actually a really good thing to use when blocking out colors, right? So especially I've found it when I was working on some of the projects in film that this would be my go-to technique. If I was given a character, this would be my go-to technique for creating a base color to take into programs such as Substance or Mari, specifically Mari, because Mari isn't like Substance Painter. Substance Painter is much more like Photoshop, right? Where you have layers and you can paint on the individual layers, and it has a layering system. So you can actually do everything you see here inside of Substance Painter on your model by what do you call it? Using masks and stuff like that to mask out cavities and stuff like that, right? You can do the same thing inside of Mari, but Mari has a canvas approach to texturing. So what happens is Mari, you'll have the screen like you see in front of you, but in front of that screen, invisible in front of that screen in the program, is a canvas that you paint on, and then you project that paint texture onto the model, right? it's very good at procedural work, Mari, and creating procedural textures. But I find that if you can get a creature like this, or a creature like this painted in a very basic pass inside of ZBrush, like we're doing now, so you get all these values, right, and turn on the flat color, you see all these values, right, that we've been able to create in a very short amount of time, and you use this as your base texture inside of Mari, and then you can do the procedural texturing using Mari, but you don't have to start from scratch. You've already got like 50% of the work done inside of ZBrush, and then you just take it into Mari, and you can what do you call it? Continue on. So it's kind of the techniques I used for a few of the projects that we worked on in DNEG and MPC, was to use ZBrush to block in basic colors, and then take that into Mari to add more details. That's the beauty of this sort of job, right? Is that when you first start off, you're gonna do the long thing. You're gonna take the long route when you first start off in the industry, to creating textures, perfect textures, and all that sort of thing. But then once you start getting into how things are done in the industry and how fast you have to be, you can start looking for shortcuts, right? Now, I'm not saying you should look for shortcuts straight away. I think that you should learn the long way before you learn the shortcut. It's not so that, you know, you can skip the long way. It's so that you know what to do if things go wrong in the shortcut, because you've done the long way, right? It's almost like if you're building a computer, you're not gonna do certain things at certain points that are going to jeopardize the production line of the computer later on. You're going to take it step by step, and that's why doing this sort of stuff step by step is going to be more beneficial in the long run. Cool. All right, so we got that done. Let's say that's our highlights done. I could go on a lot more with the highlights, but I think we got a good sort of texture building up now. So what I want to do next is I'm going to clear the mask, and we can also start using some alphas. I'm just going to use the ones that are inside ZBrush. I'm not going to download or import any. So we just have a look at these alphas. You can see we have Alpha 7 and Alpha 8, which are kind of organic looking, and these all come with ZBrush as well. You also got Alpha 22, which is kind of, you can think of that as veins, I guess. So the best thing to do with these is to use a spray. You can use a spray color or spray. Spray color is just going to change the color pigment of the brush as you paint it. So if I turn this to 100, you can kind of see it's changing the color pigment of the brush as you paint, whereas spray is just going to give you the color that you've chosen, right? So if I go to this more reddish color, you can see it's all red. If I go to the color spray, it's going to keep the red, but it's also going to try to incorporate other colors around it. Oops, control it. Now, I also want to turn lazy mouse back on by hitting L so that I get that lazy mouse back in. And for this, I want to go to stroke, curve, lazy mouse, and I want to increase the lazy step. So every time that it paints, it's going to leave a gap before it makes another alpha stamp. Right? It just spreads it out a little bit more. And now, because this is considered small veins, we want to make the alpha brush a little smaller. Right. So we also don't want to have red veins. We want to have blue veins. Yeah. So you can see here, just by adding that, we broke up the sort of surface of the skin now. It's a very nice technique actually to add pigmentation to your model as well. So we just go around the model in some of these areas and add this in. You can also add it onto these boils. You can see just a very faint lines there, sort of veiny lines on it. Now, of course, this is very detailed texturing work that I never really do for a concept. But as I mentioned before, if I was to take this character into Substance Painter, then at least I have this base color to work from. And it's like 10%, or sorry, 50% of the work is done, right? And all you got to do then is try not to break it inside of Substance. Oh dear. There we are. Gives it a nice little purplish hue to it as well, which is quite nice to look at. Right. Okay, I think that's good. Now, you could also use a drag and drag some larger kind of veins in as well. Should bring down the opacity and also bring down the color. Now, this is probably better to use if you have veins, like an alpha for a vein. In fact, let me just see. Let me import one. Alphas, skin. I've got a couple of veins in here. Open. Okay, got a couple of veins here. So yeah, pretty nice to use this as well, to add some veins in. If you want to add height to this as well, you can also add height whilst you're painting, if you wanted to. But just make sure back face masking's on. There we are. Again, this is all very tertiary, I guess, because we're going to go into Photoshop later and fix it up. So not something I do a lot of for a concept, but it just adds a bit more to it. By the way, coming close to finishing this model, has anybody got an idea of what they want for the next sculpt, Thursday sculpt? Do they want something, again, more detailed, or do you want to explore something less detailed? Just a bit of fun to sculpt, kind of like that orc bust that we sculpted at the beginning of the year. We can do that. That's too many veins. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let me change this music as well. Celestial says less humanoid, maybe. I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm happy to do less humanoid stuff. Just let me know what exactly you're looking for. In fact, if you're on the Discord, why don't you pop in a couple of concepts or ideas that you want to explore, or want me to explore for you, and I'll see what I can do. Tomorrow says, what about your version of Father Christmas? Oh yeah, it's a bit late now, isn't it? I mean, we're almost at Christmas, but yeah, we could do that next year. Let's try that next year. My version of Father Christmas near the end of the year. Casey says, go out of your comfort zone and try an insect or something. Yeah, I'm happy to try an insect. I'm happy to try anything, guys. So I mean, end of the day, it's for your benefit. It's not for mine. So if you want, we can make an insect. Okay. Oh, that's another thing. I was going to download Substance from Steam, the perpetual license. So maybe what we'll do is, what I'll do, not you, but what I'll do is take something like this into Substance, and I'll show you how to use Substance to your benefit, and how to texture inside Substance. In a non-destructive. I mean, I've done it for what do you call it? Sorry, I'm just still trying to sculpt, paint and sculpt at the same time. Paint and talk at the same time. I could do it for. I've done it for you for a tutorial, but I'm happy to try it out inside of a live stream. Cecil says, how about something you never made before but want to do? Well, I mean, what I really want to do is some sort of Halo inspired military armored character, you know? So with that sort of Halo design to it, like Destiny and stuff like that, because I really want to learn more about hard surface stuff as well. I think that would be quite interesting. I can show you how I go about it, and you can tell me if I'm doing it right or not. But yeah, definitely want to try more hard surface stuff as well at some point. I'm lacking in that quite a bit. Okay. And just going to add a couple of, I'm just going to make a new mask out of the cavity. I'm going to grow it, shrink it, blur it, turn off the view. What I want to do is just want to stamp a couple of these out. Kind of messy. That's not the color I want. It just breaks up. Is that going to work? Yeah, it could work. Maybe a lighter color. Yeah, lighter color. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding some variation in tone in areas, using this as a mask. Joseph, nice to see you. Bit late. Better than never, I guess. Welcome. Yeah, where is it? The Games Awards is happening in an hour's time, I believe. So Be interesting to see that what happens in that. There we are. That'll do. Okay. I think I'm done with the textures. Right. Now, let's say we're not going to see much of the back here. Oops. When it comes to texture, comes to the concept, we're not going to see too much in the back here. But I think what I can do is clear that mask. Select a lighter skin tone. And just lighten this leg up a bit. It's a bit too red. Okay. Do you use alphas for texturing? You can, yeah. I've just been using a few of them from ZBrush here, and 2 that I imported, which are veins. I've used those for texturing. Again, it works well with the base sculpt, base texture. After which you can take into Substance Painter and texture it up even further. My God, this hat is hot as hell, but I'm determined to wear it. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is start to pose this guy. Now, I'm a very boring person when it comes to posing because it's in a sort of A pose right now, and the way I pose it is I pose it inside of ZBrush, right? So you're very limited to what you can do pose-wise inside of ZBrush without a fully rigged character with, you know, posable rig and whatever. So when it comes to posing, I like to keep it simple so that it's showing off the character instead of having it in a very unique action pose type thing, or a very difficult character pose. I'll just show you quickly here. So you can see here, that's quite difficult, that one, but it's very simple at the same time. It's still in a sort of A pose. It's just sort of it's mangled up a little bit. We move over to the left-hand side here. This is what I mean by too complex a pose for what I want. It's not that I can't do that. It's that it's just a little bit too complex. I'm thinking more along the lines of this type of pose, where it's a powerful pose, but it's sort of a character in it, but it's literally a very still model. It's not overly exaggerating, like say something that's a sculpture, like a superhero sculpture or something like that, which is exaggerated, right? But they've sculpted it into that pose. We haven't sculpted this into the pose, so there's going to be a lot of cleanup work if we were to do it in a very action-based pose, which is going to make it complicated. So what I want to do instead is make a nice simple pose, still put a character into it, but keeping it simple. So I'm going to go Z plugin. I'm going to go down to not Subtool Master, Transpose Master. And I want to add a layer because I want to be able to turn it on and off so I can get back to my T pose. Very important that you always do that, by the way. Always good to have a backup. You don't want to get to pose in it and then all of a sudden it turns out that you don't like that pose and you have to go all the way to undo it. It's just a headache. So just saving a layer is a good thing. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to hit T pose mesh, and that's going to give me this model. Now it's the low res model, and here's where the fun begins. Oh, give me a minute. Right. We're going to use masking techniques inside of ZBrush. Sorry. This is how I pose inside ZBrush. So I use masking techniques. So what we want to do first is grab the gizmo tool in W in the keyboard. And in the mask, if I hit Control down and I select the lasso tool, this is going to be my two main tools when posing this character. Okay. Just having a look at the reference real quick. I actually quite like this one. This one here, you see how it's still standing up straight, but it's kind of deformed in the way it's standing. It's not very straight or anything like that. So we're going to kind of go for this sort of thing, this sort of look. Just going to move over to the side. Actually, I'm going to keep that on the screen because you won't know what I'm doing otherwise. Okay. Something to refer to as well. So the first thing I want to do is, what do I want to do first? Mask out the leg, and I'm just smoothing the mask as well so that it's not such a harsh transition. And I want to bring this leg inwards. I turn off the perspective for this because I want to be able to see the floor. I'm going to rotate it forward. And I'm going to mask off where the knee is. And you can see this takes a long time because it's a lot of checking your work, basically. Every single movement is very, I mean, when I was working at Good Game Studios, I used to have a lead artist who would stay after work and do extra work, personal work, right? And I kind of saw him one day at his desk, and he had this amazing character that he's been working on for a very long time. And he was posing it, and I thought to myself, oh, that's cool. So I went over and had a look and had a little chat with him and stuff like that. And then I left. And then again, the next day I come back and he's there again, right? Working on the same character. But when I looked over his shoulder, I sort of looked at it, I was like, isn't that the same pose as you had yesterday? And what's changed? And he was like, oh no, I'm just tweaking the pose, because from what I could see, I thought it was finished, completely finished, right? From the day before. And I thought to myself, oh, it'll be cool to see the final piece tomorrow. But I go in and he's still working on the pose. And apparently he'd been working on it for 2 weeks, the single pose. He's been working on it for 2 weeks, just inside a ZBrush, moving, rotating the model that he had for 2 weeks. I thought to myself, gee, that's crazy. Gonna rotate this back a bit. But it's because he was doing this. He was moving things in very slow, methodical movements, right? In order to get the exact pose that he wanted. Now, I usually work very quickly when doing these things. But even I could spend more time, making sure that everything looked proper. When I pose this thing. Gonna have this piece here. Oops. Have this whole piece here sort of leaning over a bit more. Got to be mindful about stretching as well, because we're looking at a low poly model right now, but when we take it back to the high poly, it's naturally going to try to stretch those parts, and it's going to destroy the model. You know. I want that kind of lolliness of the head. You know, it's kind of leaning over, and maybe a mouth. Maybe the mouth can be lowered as well, like the jaw. Or actually, let's bring it up. And then take this entire top half. What are we doing here? Also, when you're thinking about this, also think about the camera angle as well, which you want to actually render from, right? Because you want to get the best beauty shot, right, that you can. Shuffle. His little chicken leg or chicken arm. KFC, yeah. Joseph, yeah, KFC. Finger licking good. Trying to think of the best angle, something like that. I really want to get that arm in there. Let's move this chest piece out a bit. That's better. You can also use, like, you don't have to just use the masking technique. You can also at this point manipulate it so that it's you can manipulate the low poly and fix some problem areas, bulge out in certain areas and whatnot. Okay. Let's play around with these fingers a bit. Nobody likes a A pose fingers. So let's just change the look of these. I love doing hand posing. I hate painting hands and I hate sculpting hands, but I do like to pose them on a 3D character or creature. Okay. Sorry, I'm not talking as much as I should. It's a very boring channel. It's a very boring live stream. Yeah, the concentration is crazy at this point when you're posing. There we are. Has anybody seen the Frankenstein movie? Or have we talked about that one yet? I can't remember if we have. Gal de Toro, is that his name? Frankenstein. Good God. Joseph hasn't seen it. Celestials hasn't seen it. I'm not even going to ask Cakester because they've probably never seen it either. It's good. It's not what you think it is in terms of a sort of horror film, a horror film. But it's very good. It's a very good story. It's got a very good story, very good casting. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I love Sculptor posing sort of zombie hands. That's the way they sort of the hands, or like a real claw type thing. That was a film I watched 28 years later. Has anyone seen that? Has anyone seen that yet? Oh my God, Cakester, you've actually seen that film? No way. Nah, you must be pulling my leg again. I think it was it was odd. It started off really, really good. It wasn't a bad film all the way through. But very odd. It was, I don't know if it wasn't really reminiscent of 28 weeks later, because it came out recently. I see all the recent stuff, none of the part. Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll give you that. But yeah, it's not very reminiscent from what I can remember of 28 weeks or 28 days later. I think even 28 weeks was not bad, actually, that film. I still think that's a pretty good film. I know a lot of other people think it's just a sequel because they wanted to make a sequel, but they're probably right. But I still think it worked out well, story wise. But the 28 years later, because they're bringing out another one, aren't they? The Bone Temple's coming out soon. So yeah, be interesting to see how they continue the story on, because they want to make 3 films out of this, which is interesting. There's also Supergirl trailer just came out as well. There's a lot of people saying that it's very much just James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, but Superman or Supergirl instead of Star-Lord. So yeah, make of that what you will. I mean, I love the Guardians of the Galaxies, but I don't know if it's comparable to, or if it's a good idea to make every single film that you make look like Guardians of the Galaxy, if you know what I mean. I think maybe change it up, make something something different, because a lot of his work is very Disney, Marvel's type stuff, isn't it? Recently. Not to say that all of his stuff is bad. I'm not saying his stuff is bad. He's probably better at what than I am, but there was just something so Guardians of the Galaxy about that Supergirl film trailer. Oh, Joseph, what? You didn't see any of the 28 weeks or 28 days or 28 years later yet? Oh, well, that's your that's homework. That's the word. For the new year. Celestial says, I didn't like recent Superman. I didn't even watch the recent Superman, to be fair. I saw that huge kaiju creature that they had, and I was just like, I'm done. In the trailer, I was like, I'm done. I don't need to see this film. It looks stupid. It doesn't look interesting to me. Nah. And anyway, I mean, we all know Henry Cavill is Superman, right? I mean, there's no denying that, right? Am I the only one that thinks that? Yeah, Supergirl does appear drunk at the end of Superman, and if you watch the trailer of the Supergirl trailer, she's basically just a drunk. I don't know. Just she's got this air of teenage angst on her, and it's just like, I can't be bothered to watch that story, you know. I'm not interested in that. All right, I think that's a pretty good pose for what it is. It's kind of reminiscent of the one down here, just a little bit more lopsided and fucked up, I guess. So let us transpose it. All right. There we are. Now, oh, Joseph, you've seen it as well. Yeah, thank God I didn't see it. Okay, so now that we have our pose, we can now move this out of the way because we don't need that anymore. And what I want to do is set this up so that I can render it, right? The fun part. Let's go to draw, and under draw, document. It's currently set to 1120 width and 840 height. Now, what do I constantly say in portfolio reviews and other tutorials, mini tutorials? It's if you're doing portrait, if it's something long, like tall, portrait's better than landscape because you don't want all that empty space next to it. So I'm going to do mine portrait because it's a long, tall creature. If it was a long, wide creature, I'd make it landscape, but it's not. So let's change this to 720. Actually, not 720. 1270. And this to 1920. I think that's right. Control N. And I'm just going to zoom out. Yeah, that's better. You can see here, we now have a longer viewport. But the draw is wrong. So what we need to do is come over to draw, change it from horizontal to vertical, and then also change it to 85. The flatter you can get it, I think, the better. And then we just need to change the position that we want it to render in. Trying to get the best angle, really. All right. Joseph says, yeah, James Gunn made the DC Guardians of the Galaxy with the Superman film. Crypto equals with Baby Groot. Superman is Timu Star-Lord. Oh, that's harsh, but I guess it's true. Yeah, don't want if you think that was Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, then the Supergirl trailer is worse, much worse. I think it's just run out of ideas. And I think Netflix has just bought Warner Brothers, right? So what does that mean for James Gunn's position as the DC director, right? He was DC director. He was going to be the director for the DC universe. I guess, you know, he'll be gone soon, I guess. Right. So I like this position, but I want to see draw size. I want to change the draw size a little bit more. I like to get it as flat as possible when I'm doing this. Not too much of a fish-eyed lens. Let me just change the music. Sorry guys, I keep forgetting. Okay. Try and find a good angle. Maybe this angle's better. Yeah, maybe that will work better. Do you think this angle? Do you think this angle's good? I know what you will say on this, but I'm really sitting on the hype train of event. Oh God, really? I'm over it. I'm sorry. I'm over Avengers films. I think Avengers like Disney's Avengers has seen its day. You know, it's played out too much now. For me, anyway. There might still be some diehard fans, but I don't know. I think it ended with Endgame. So. Yeah, I think that's got a good angle to it. Okay, let's stick it with that angle. Let's stick with that angle because you've got the nice arm here. You can see the sort of bone weapon of the other arm. You're going to miss all that cool detail on the side here. I mean, we could probably do that. Maybe. Let's just change the draw a little bit more. I don't know. I like it. I like it like this. I like it like that. But the Russo brothers, yeah, I guess Russo brothers, are good directors, but from what I've heard about what's going on the set so far, it's not good. Like the actors aren't getting along. Some of them. You know, there's complaints on the set and stuff like that, and some of them are shooting their sequences separate from everyone else, and then they're going to be digitally put into the scene later on. And I don't know. It sounds like a complete shit show to me. That foot is not on the floor. 1 second, guys. Oops, lazy. I don't know why that happens. You have to make a new layer so they can scroll up. Stupid. Let me just move this foot down so it's touching the floor. There we are. That way the shadow will touch the floor. That's why I did that. Okay, I think I found a good point. a good position. Okay. Let's save that position. And let's go to the renders tab. There we are. Right. Let's get into this now. I'm going to do a test render to see what it looks like. So the light source, you can see the shadows, they're not doing much, right? It's not really doing much to tell a story or to have good shadow information and light positioning. So I need to change the light position. I kind of want to bring it over the top, maybe a bit more. Yeah, maybe that will work. What happens if we put it on the other side of them? Oh, that looks nice. Maybe too high. I think that's pretty good. We can also change the distance of the light as well. So we play around with the distance of the light. Could give us some different results. Let's put it back to 100. Yeah, we'll leave it at 100 for now. Just zoom in a little bit. Render, properties, turn on ambient occlusion, and turn on shadow. So I want to add some angle to the shadow and increase the rays. And for the ambient occlusion, I'm going to bring down the blur to 1, bring up the resolution to 4000, rays up to 169, and I'll leave the rest as it is for now. Do another render and just see how it goes. Yeah, I think the Russo brothers are a good pair to have for Marvel because they respect the comic books, but they're going to cost a lot for this film, and I think Robert Downey Jr. has already taken $100 million for these films. To be in these films, I'm just thinking, if he's 100 mil, then what are the other actors like? You know, if he is 100 mil, yeah, it's gonna be a very expensive film, and I don't think that Mickey Mouse, sorry, I don't think that Disney's gonna make their money back with it. I think there's a lot of fatigue right now with the superhero culture. I think it's kind of gone the way of the cowboys films, you know, the cowboy and Indian films, when they oversaturated the market with those films back in the day. And now we're doing the same thing with the superhero films because nothing else has come at the same time. Nothing else has come beyond superhero films, right? So we're just saturated with it, and it's not special anymore, you know? So we're going to go to render passes. Just check these render passes real quick. That looks pretty good, actually. DPR. Now, I've been playing around with the PBR settings recently because I like to get a lot more done inside of ZBrush before I take it into Photoshop on the base layer, right? So number 3, I'm going to sharpen it. I'm going to leave that as it is. Auton, I don't know what Auton does, like the word means, but basically what it is it just brightens the entire creature up. I don't want it that bright. Glow, change this one. Material, texture, let's choose this one. So you see I'm doing a lot of the work now inside of ZBrush rather than inside of Photoshop. Just speeds things up a bit as well. Turn off the shadows because I don't want the shadows to be affected or the ambient occlusion to be affected. And I want to mask it out as well. Right. What else can I get? Let's get some wet sheen going on him because he's supposed to be quite wet sheen like. I'm going to add and bring down material shading as well as the opacity for it. And now you can see we've got a nice sheen on his skin in these areas. Jason says, you can expect another 5-star on ArtStation for the keyshot tutorial. Great stuff. Thank you very much. I did see your render. I think you've got a good positioning for your character with that. But now I think you need to go back and add some more detail to the character because it just gets washed out with the materials like the subsurface scattering and stuff like that. So adding deeper scales and deeper scales and more detail to the dragon will help inside a keyshot later because it just does. I don't know how else to say. Just add more detail to what you already have will be more beneficial inside a keyshot. Okay, I'm going to add this blue, and can we add this as soft light, color dodge, thin light, ooh. Vivid, no, reflect, no, Phoenix, oh god, no, Phonix, sorry, not Phoenix, what color? No. Just add it. No, can't add it. Lighten? I'm still playing around with these, by the way, so you see me doing this. I'm just sort of trying to figure out the best method, really. Now you can see when we add more of this texture here in the material shade, we're going to need to go back to the Auton and add more to the Auton to brighten up, or we can add a new one later. Hold on, we just bring down the opacity of it a bit. Turn off the shadows and ambient occlusion, as well as turn on the mask. That should be better. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The only thing about this is you only get 12 spots to fiddle about with inside of ZBrush. So you kind of need to think about what you want to use as in the in this area. Oh yeah, frame 1. It's a cavity map. I'm going to use that as an add. And we're going to turn on the mask, turn off the shadows and the ambient occlusion. You don't really want to have ambient occlusion and shadows messed with, really. Okay. I think Auton should be pulled down a bit. I think that's going to work pretty well, isn't it? What do you guys think? Do you think that's going to be all right inside of Photoshop later? Once we take it into Photoshop? Not that. Not that. Ooh, that's nice. Kingster, that looks epic. Sorry, I'm here, but heavily multitasking. I thought he was going to say something else there for a minute. When I saw the M, and he said heavily, I thought there was going to be something completely different there. So that's my dirty mind thinking that. But that's cool. Are you wrapping presents, I take it? Or it's funny, actually, because is it Hamid? Is it Hamid that is usually on these live streams as well? So it was his idea. In your spare time, that would be all right, Cakester. So Hamid, well, it was his idea to do this protocol, Callisto protocol character, and he's not even here to watch it. So yeah, bit of a weird one, really. Don't know why I'm doing it. Actually, that green looked pretty good. Hold on, let me just go back to that shade. Now, if we turn on the mask, we turn it off on the shadow and the ambient occlusion. Then we bring this down a bit and overlay. No, not overlay. Add. Normal. What? I don't know what the difference is now. Multiply. No. Let's just... What did we have it on? Was it screen? Yeah, screen. Okay. Now, this is sort of thing I would maybe put in, like do inside of Photoshop. So there's not baked in, but I think we can get away with it with this. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen. I don't know if you guys have had the screen maximized, but it's given a nice green hue to it. If I zoom in, you can kind of see it, maybe not. But I think that's good. I don't want to go any further with it. I think if we go any further, we're going to break it, really. So we're going to keep it like that. Casey says, I'm eating cereal, working on a project, and watching you at the same time. What project are you working on? Is it 3D related? Yeah, what projects are you guys working on, by the way? I'm interested to know. I'm a nosy bastard. Okay, so render pass. We have got. We got to think about this, right? We don't want to have the shaded one because the shaded one hasn't got all the filters that we just worked on added to it. So we want this one, but we don't want it with shadow information or ambient occlusion information. You could if you wanted to. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it as it is for now. We'll keep it with the shadow information on, and we'll just render this out. We'll just save this out as it is. So the composite one is basically everything we've done plus the shadow, ambient occlusion, and everything else is on that one image, right? So we just save this out off screen, just off screen, by the way. So I'll just save this. Photoshop. Save that as PSD. There we are. And I'm also going to save out the shadow, the mask, do we need the floor? Let's take the floor as well, just in case. And the ambient occlusion and the depth. Right? So we have those ones. Now what I want to do is actually come in here and turn off everything that we just did. Turn off all these buttons. And then come back to the material and use the flat color, because what we want is the color information, but we don't want the floor, which we won't get anyway. So we just want this flat color information. Let's save this out as flat. Oh, database related. Ooh, yeah, no thanks. Bro, that I'm a nosy bastard caught me off guard. Yeah. I try not to swear. Oh, I say that. I'm a goddamn. I swear like a drunken sailor most of the time, but I try not to professionally, and especially about tutorial stuff. I don't like swearing in that, but if it's just a chat, one-to-one chat, then I'll just go off the walls. with my mouth. Oh my god, we could have had 2 of these in here. Oh, never mind. We won't do that. That's just too much. Okay, so what we did was we had all the filters, right, that we've rendered out. But now what I want to do is just render out a couple more before we move on to the lights. So I'm just going to grab a couple more of these and also make sure that we have AO turned off and shadows turned off for this. So I'm going to save this one. I'm just going to save the shaded version. One, there we are. Where was I? Yes. Now I know we already used this one, but I do like to keep a spare one just in case. And then it's kind of like, you know, dealer's choice what you want to take in there with you. If you have a particular one that you like the look of, you can take it in. You probably won't use it, but it's good to have backups just in case. So I'll just render out a couple of these. Nah. I'm going to change that music. Oh god, that's so jolly. It's the season to be jolly. Da la la da la 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 la. Da 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 da. Okay, so we got a couple of shaded versions, so now we can move on to the lights. And I normally just do a blend. Oh my god, that music's so loud. Okay, so I usually do a blend, and then I'll go to the lights, make it a black as well, the material black. Turn this up to about 3, distance is 1. Do the first render without moving the lights because it's in the right place for that light. Now just save this light out. We are. Then for this one, I'm going to grab a rim light at the back. And I want one from this side, which is kind of like a fill light. I'm very well not well. I'm very cautious of where the shadows will be on the character, so just got to remember that for later as well. Okay, I think that's good enough for the lights. And just bring this back to there. There we are. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the rendering side of things done. Let's see. Where are we? I'm going to open it up in Photoshop now. It's a 2-hour stream so far. My god. Okay, so now we are in Photoshop. And what I need to do is set this all up. So I'm just dragging and dropping everything in, rasterizing the layers. And I'm going to move these into position. So the kind of the positions that I normally put them in. And these ones. Now you're probably going to ask me, why didn't I just do all of this inside of Keyshot, right? Well, that's because I no longer have well, my machine over there no longer runs, so I need to fix it before I can start using Keyshot for stuff again. So I have to go back to the original way of doing it, using ZBrush, and only ZBrush. So yeah, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Oh, Waka the Maker says, very nice, very binary-ish creature. Okay. Joseph says, as we mentioned Harry Potter a lot, maybe there could be a Harry Potter creature project. Maybe a Grindelow? Which one was the Grindelow again? I can't remember which one was the Grindelow again. It's on the tip of my tongue. Are you talking Harry Potter or oh, what was that other one? Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them, I think it's called. Because I think that's the Grindelow, right? That's where the Grindelow was. Yes, Cakester? Underwater creature from Gold. Grindelow. Oh, yeah, yeah. The way the woman says it is key, you know. Grindelow, yeah. That's just a mermaid, right? Oh, no, that's the one, the tentacle creature with the tentacles, the little sort of squid baby type thing, isn't it? I thought Harry Potter was amazing. You can't even remember the name. I can remember the name. I just can't remember which Harry Potter films it's from. I haven't seen Harry Potter in a little bit. Actually, no, I lie, because my niece loves Harry Potter. It's kind of strange seeing someone from the later generations loving a film from way back. You know, it's crazy. The audacity. Sure. You haven't even seen it yet, so I don't know what you're complaining about. Until you can't say anything until you've seen the films. Have you read the books? That's another thing. Have you actually read the books? Because I would be very, very, very annoyed if you haven't at least read the books. Yeah, those dragging Harry down when trying to save Ron. Yeah, I mean, you know, make it easy for me. You know, give me a creature with 10,000 tentacles. Why not? I mean, it'll take a long time to do because, you know, tentacle creatures, you got to do all the tentacles. But I don't mind doing it. Honestly, I don't mind making stuff like that if it's what you're into. If you want me to do it, yeah, it will just take a little bit of time to do. To be fair, because you know it's a squid. But I think the next thing, see, hard surface is so difficult because it's such a long process for hard surface, especially if you're not used to doing hard surface very quickly. So I mean, like a shoulder pad for a mech droid or whatever could take a half a stream to do. You know, those type of things are much better suited for time-lapse videos, like with explanation in it. You know? But we can see what we can do. Maybe we can make an very easy droid or something. You know, I want to do something sort of hard surface at some point. I haven't read the book since I was about 12. Oh, well, okay, fair enough. At least you've read the books, though. That's a good thing. Yeah, I'm just playing around with these textures, by the way, just seeing what can I do with them. Some of them I will use, some of them I might not use. I'm not going to go through the whole step-by-step thing because I think I've done that enough times in other live streams that you can now watch on Thursdays, by the way. The Thursday live streams are available for everyone, so if you've missed them, then you can watch those ones. Also, if you can, please leave a like and share on this, or just like it even. That would be really helpful for the algorithm. Thanks a lot. Waka the Maker says, make a towel mech. I could try to do like how to block out a towel mech or a sort of mech character using primitive shapes and stuff. But actually sculpting it live stream and stuff like that completely is going to be a little difficult, like I said. But we can see what we can do. Start off small, then go big, you know. No, I haven't read the Harry Potter books. The last book in general I read was when I was 12. Oh, okay. that's I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I think the book I'm reading at the moment is kind of a dire one. It's a nuclear war scenario book. I got it last year at Christmas when, you know, the world was going to shit basically, or seemed like it was going to shit, and there was imminent World War III on the horizon sort of thing. And my brother thought it'd be a good idea for me to read about nuclear warheads and stuff like that. So I've only just recently started reading it, but it's daunting stuff. Like the first chapter, it talks about what would happen if a nuclear bomb went off near the Pentagon, and how wide it would, you know, how wide the spread of the bomb would go. And that's within the first chapter, it's the first few pages, and it's devastating, man. It's devastating to think of. But it kind of puts it into perspective, you know. It's like if you think about it, if it was a scenario where nuclear bombs are being dropped on all the countries, you may as well run towards the blast, you know, get it over with quick. That's what I say. I'm not, it makes me sound pretty dire, but you know what I mean? If you saw the nuclear blast, you're better off running towards it than you are running away from it. Because what comes next is just, it's not something I think anyone would want to be around for. Cool. I mean, we're blitzing through this one. I mean, I'm talking about nuclear wars, and you're looking at something that looks like it's came out of radiation. Kind of ironic. Yeah, I'm kind of just going through this really quickly to save on time, because we are at the 2-hour mark right now. So we'll see how far we can get with this. Okay. Oh, we forgot this one. That one. Joseph says, I would be interested in the John Gwynne books. Just don't know if the books are as good as the cover. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I've heard some good reviews about them. I haven't read them yet. I just don't have time to at the moment. But it is on my list of things to read, is John Gwynne's books. He writes in Norse mythology, so a lot of Norse mythology, sorry. So there's a lot of words in them. I think I've read a little bit of some of the book he's wrote, and there's a lot of like Swedish or Norwegian, Nordic names in there that can trip you up, basically. But I've heard that it's an amazing book to read. He's kind of like the next Game of Thrones type writer, you know, that sort of thing. That's sort of what he's been referred to. And he's an amazing guy as well. Really nice guy. Okay. What about Narnia? What about Narnia? Are we talking Amazon's Narnia? Are we talking the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the original film? Are we talking the original book? because I actually like the original film they brought out of Narnia when I was young. It was, you know what it is? It's anything to do with the world, 1940 to 1945, not the wartime, not the actual war, right? Even though that's interesting. I love the aesthetics of the time, the period, basically. It's kind of this period where we got the industrial sort of revolution kicked off stronger, right? And we started to become more towards the technological side of stuff, but it was still quite old-fashioned and things like that. So, you know, horse and cart was still very much a thing. It was at the period, the junction in time, very, very interesting. So I kind of like that sort of period in time for films and stuff like that, and historical events. It's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of innocent, you know. It's not been taken over by the technological world that we live in today. It was kind of like if you lived in London or if you lived in England, you had no idea, apart from news and newspapers, you had no idea what was going on around the other side of the world. That's kind of how I like. I want to go back to, you know, somewhat. I don't want to know everything every minute of the day. You got the Weta art book. Brilliant. No, I haven't got the art book, but I do love the stuff that they created for it. Okay, let's get this mask out. I'm going to delete the back of that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay. Okay. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I need to add some subsurface scattering. So I'm going to just do some fake subsurface scattering. Trying to find the right one. I might not look like I'm doing much. Do you guys watch this on a full widescreen or do you watch this in a small screen? Because when I'm watching it on a small screen here, because it's up here, I've got all the tabs open. It looks very small. I'm not sure if you guys watch it with a full screen or not. case it's got it on full screen on second monitor. Does it? Can you see everything all right? I mean, is it coming up all right for you, like the visuals? I'm just wary that it's on my screen because it's smaller than small, but oh god. Oh, it's getting to that 2-hour mark when my throat starts to go and my voice starts to go. Oh. Okay. I haven't done this in an age. This technique inside of Photoshop. In fact, this technique takes a lot longer than takes a lot longer than normal. It's a tad small, but fine. Oh, sorry. Is the because you see, I didn't want to keep being in the shot, like the little what do you call it, webcam in the shot. So that's why I built this whole surrounding. But you know, I could zoom in if you like, if that's all right with you guys. I could zoom in. You know what? It's good to not be too close to the model when you're working with all these things here on the side, these layers. Sorry, my voice just gone. Sorry, 1 second. Oh god, Jesus! How do they do it? How do these live streamers keep going? Can you not die on stream? I'm trying my goddamn hardest, man. Joseph says, how do you switch between black and white so fast? Hotkey. It's just X on the keyboard. So if you just hit X on the keyboard, it'll switch from black to white. It's basically just these switches here. These colors, they just switch. Okay. So what you can do is make a duplicate of that. Brighten it, bring down the contrast, create a mask, and we're going to make it lighter on the top, and then I'm going to make it darker on the bottom. But this has to be way over here, over the top of everything. Turn it to multiply. What I want to do actually is move everything down just a tad. Maybe over to the left a little bit as well. Try to center it a little bit more. Okay, that is looking sharp. We have the ground on here. 1 second. I'm going to mask out that. Come to the bottom. Oops. Okay. And now we can add some gradients. So I'm going to pick from the colors of the character because this helps to I want to blend it to match the colors, but it just helps it keep the same color tone, right? So start off with a gradient coming straight down, something like that. And let's change this. So just blocking out the background with some gradients quick. And then I'm going to come in here, grab my trusty cloud brush, and start to color pick and add some clouds, fluffy clouds everywhere. Okay. And then I'm going to add another horizon and darken it with a multiply. So let's, Joseph says, Die Hard and Christmas inspired ZBrush t-shirt titled Now I Have a Standard Brush. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Let's move that off top of that. I think the specular on the legs need to go. Because it's too specular here. We can actually up the shadow a little bit. Okay, and 1 second. Just gonna grab something real quick in my characters. Quite like this one, you see. You see how this one's got a nice sort of background going on. trying to mimic this sort of look. Okay, so we need a darker top half. Yeah. There we go. Try to not make it too dark at the bottom. Okay, that's good. Getting somewhere now. For God's sake. How's that looking? Whacker the Maker says, "Oh, you watching the Game Awards tonight?" And yes, Render is fire. I was going to watch it. I'm not sure if they started, haven't they? They probably started anyway. Yeah, I was going to watch it, but I might not anymore. Looking cool. Thank you very much. Okay, so I just want to, before I go any further, I want to grab some VFX. One of my favorites. Boom. I think you all know this one by now. If you've been following my work, you'll know that this is my favorite texture to use. Where's it? Fucking rasterize. There it is. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, mask, invert, overlay, desaturate. Where did I put that? Oh, is that the one? No. So that's it. Just levels. Okay. Now let's add a mask. And let's paint in very lightly the detail. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you guys can actually see what's going on. So I'm just adding some of this detail to the character from that material that we just brought in. The key to this is to not oversaturate the model with it, but, you know, enhance it with text, with added textures, extra textures. So pick some key areas to add it to. And got another one. Oh, I like this one. It's a metal texture, right? So it's just a picture of metal, basically. But it works really well for giving an overall noisy texture to the character. Okay. Add a blur to it and then cut it out. So you invert it. And just bring down the intensity of it. I'm going to add a mask to this and paint out around the gums and teeth area. I'm going to change the back color here quickly. Hue and saturation. And also, I think I'm going to change the overall color of the character. I'm going to change this with the hue saturation. I'm going to try colorize on. And I'm going to go for a little more of a bluish hue. Yeah, that's better. Is that better? Yeah, it is better. So I'm trying to make it pop away from the background a bit more, because the background is just supposed to be empty space in the background, right? It's just supposed to be something to put your character into and not have to think too much on. Just play with these sliders until you get the right consistency you're looking for as well. Okay, and then we can add new layer, zoom in. Now, because we have a small image, we didn't really render it out in a very big image. It's going to be rather small. So you can see the pixelation a little bit, but it's fine. We're not worried about the size of it because it's just a concept at the end of the day. Just going to add some saliva lines with a brush. And some drool hanging off his mouth. If you want, you can really go to town with the old spit and saliva, just sort of hanging like cobwebs. You know? So might have to duplicate that so you can see it. And then put on the screen. Just bring the opacity down a little bit. Okay, I think I'm just going to try another texture real quick. Oh wait, I forgot to clean it up. Is everybody still there, or are you all left by now? Oh, this is going to look so good. Look at that. If we put that one, and then we just come in here and desaturate it. And we can mask it out. Yeah, Cakes is still here, probably still eating his cereal. Joseph, you're still here, that's good. Oh god, what brush are we on? Soft round brush. And we're just going to add some of that decay to the skin a bit. Nice. Lovely decay. All right, I think we're coming near to the end of this, guys. We're almost there. We're almost finished. Just to try and find that rim light. Is that rim light? Just make some more of that rim in there, actually. I'm also going to bump this up as well. Okay. Chris now. I'm a fat bastard. Yeah, we all have our quirks. So I'm just going to go through these now and just make sure that I'm 100% happy with how each one of these masks and layers are working before I finish this off. Let's see if we can do something with this one. No, this is just going to destroy everything. Okay, just try to adjust this brightness. Okay, I think we're gonna leave it there. For that, oh, actually, before we leave it there, let's just add some more disgustingness to it. Actually, there's cobwebs on textures. Thought I had cobweb textures. Probably do somewhere. Never mind. I'll just draw it in. Come on. Sorry, I forgot to change the music. It's been playing the same tune. Oh, God. Okay, I think we're about ready to finish this. I'm just going to darken the back leg a little more. Just to give it a bit of depth perception. And then on this one, I'm gonna take away some of that darkness to the front leg. Okay, so let's say that that is what we like. Let's get into the adjustment layers. The final steps, guys. Brightness and contrast. I'm going to bump up the brightness a little bit, take down the contrast a little bit. Oops, too many of those. Edit, redo. Bump the brightness up, take down the contrast. Levels. I'm going to get the darkest part first. The lightest part second. And then I'm going to play around with the tone of it. Changing the color of it, really. The overall color of it. I think that's good. Then we can go to exposure. Expose, offset it maybe. And expose. Control I. And then I'm going to make the top half brighter. Color lookup next. This is the fun part. You get to cycle through these and see which one we want to use as an overall color shift. And we're going to change this to color. Oh god, that song's getting on my nose as well. So I'm just cycling through these to see which one works the best. I think that one's going to do it. Emerald green. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that looks all right, right? I mean, I'll put it in a big screen in a minute. It's not Mariah Carey, so it's fine. Yeah, my God, I think I'd lose people if I had Mariah Carey on. I don't see the big hoopla about her singing, to be fair. Let's change the levels. Let's see what we can do with the levels more. I think I like that. Okay, I think I like that. I like it. Right, what was it next? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna grab my trusty dirt. Oh, hold on. My trusty lens dirt texture. It just gives a bit of this one. Just gives a little bit of particle dusts. You see particle dusts in the air around him. Just gives a little bit more extra to him. You can also come in here and take away from certain areas so it doesn't affect it as much. Kind of like if you think of the Stranger Things, the upside down, when you see those particles flying in the air. Same sort of thing, really. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to merge this group. And I'm going to, crop it. And what I'm going to do is, usually I'll go in here and do a smart sharpen. And what that does, it just sharpens all that detail, right? Gives a nice sharp look to it. This works a lot better if you have a bigger image, but it'll do fine for what we want. So nice smart sharpen on it. And I'll duplicate that one and create a blur motion. So we're going to give a little bit of motion to our character, some fake motion. Now you don't have to have this too high a setting, distance. We just want to give the illusion of movement. Make a mask, hit Control-I on the keyboard to invert that mask. And then I'm going to paint in that motion blur on the areas that you don't really, well, that are in motion, but you don't want to do it on the face or anything, just on the areas you don't really want the person to look at too much. You want to focus on this area, general area, right? So that's why I put it on the arms and this back leg here. And finally, I'll duplicate this again. And this one will be filter, noise, add noise. And we'll put this as a soften light. And then bring down the opacity of stuff. This just gives it that little pixelation. You can see there's pixelation going on here. It gives it a bit of noise to the background. And it just sort of blends the image together a little bit more. Right? And that's it, guys. That's pretty much... Oh, fuck off. There we are. That is it, guys. We're done. Oh, we are done. What is that? 3 hours? My God. 3 hour live stream. That's the longest live stream I think I've had so far. Without even having to go to the toilet. I mean, come on. Give me credit for that, right? But that's it, guys. That is the last live stream of this year. I will be returning next year in January. I'll let you all know on the Discord or on YouTube post when I'm going to start it up again. It should be in the new year, so you shouldn't miss out. But I hope you guys had a great time watching this. I hope you've had a great year. And here's to next year. Look, just have a great Christmas, guys. See your friends, see your family, and chill, really, because that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to get straight back to work because time waits for no man. I hope you've enjoyed this. By the way, I had a look on my YouTube, and the names have all changed for my members, so I can no longer really do this YouTube members thank you sheet. I'm gonna have to think of something else to do because I can't figure out what you guys' names are because it's using your ats rather than your actual names. So I'm gonna have to think of something else to do for the thanking of the YouTube members and the Patreon members. But I'll think of that in the Christmas period. But thank you again to all my members. If you want, please join. Leave a like. Please share this. Leave a like. Definitely leave a like. If you want, you can even hype this live stream. That would be really great. It just helps the algorithm, really. Again, have a great Christmas. I'll just check the chat real quick. Thank you, Joseph. Have a great Christmas to you as well. Cakester, you as well. You've got loads of homework to do, so get on with it. Tomorrow, thank you for this epic session. No problem. Bro is celebrating World War III is over. Said bro is celebrating like World War III is over. Yeah, no. This has been a long stream, mate. A hell of a long stream. But it's all for you guys. Cool. All right, I'm going to go now. I'm going to turn the music off. This goddamn looping music. Have a great Christmas. Have a happy New Year if you're celebrating them. Hopefully you are. I'm going to take this hat off because I'm sweating. And I'll see you all in January. So take care, guys. See ya. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.